Alright, hello Willowbrook, and I'm Mr. Rogers, and you're watching the video notes for our first unit here in heredity. So these notes are just chromosome, or heredity basics, I guess is probably the best way to describe these. So today, guys, we're talking about genetics, and we've been talking in class about how traits are passed on from one person to another person, or living things in general. And so today, just kind of some notes on some basic parts. Like, what are these terms, DNA, chromosomes, genes? We kept using them in class, but what do they actually mean? So as we do this, taking some notes here. So we talk about different traits. If you have a trait, that's a physical characteristic that can be passed on by genes. And this idea is called heredity, that things can be passed on from parents to offspring. It's actually called heredity. And in science class, we call this genetics, the study of heredity. So in the big idea, we keep using the word chromosome. So a chromosome is a sequence of molecules that carries genetic information. So a sequence, so it's a pattern, and it's very, very large. Chromosomes carry a lot of information. A lot of DNA is on there. So on these chromosomes, some of them have a certain job, or a certain way they code for a certain trait. So a gene is a part of a chromosome that specifies a trait. So you can have a hair color gene, an eye color gene. You can have also height to an extent, or how short you're going to be is also controlled partially by your genes. And genes actually come in different forms. Genes come in different forms. They're called alleles. So for every gene, like for my eye color, I actually have 2 alleles for eye color. So my eyes are blue, so my 2 alleles are some combination of that. And so for every one on your genes and your chromosomes, you're carrying these different alleles. You have 2 different alleles. So when we think about this, guys, you know, what's DNA? What's a gene? What's a chromosome? So a chromosome, this is all inside that nucleus, inside of a cell. These cells carry these X's, they almost look like. It's a pair of chromosomes there. The X forms a pair. And on there, if we kind of wind this up, this is the chromosome. If we unwound this chromosome into like this individual band, this sequence here, that's the DNA, or these A, T, C's, and G's we'll talk more about down the road. But this sequence, that's DNA, and there's tons of it in your body. So a certain section of it is called a gene. And the gene has a specific code on there that's going to give you a certain trait that's on that gene. Just a chunk of the chromosome is where that gene is going to be. So the chromosome carries all these genes, and these genes are made of all this DNA. It's kind of the way to think about it. Hint, hint, this picture should be in your notes in some way, shape, or form to get credit. All right, moving on. So when we have these different alleles, alleles can be dominant, and we show them with like 2 capital letters. So a capital letter means that the trait, that allele is dominant. So the trait that always shows up when it's present in the DNA. So if you have at least one dominant, it's always going to be present. It's like brown eyes. Brown is dominant over green or blue eyes. So if you have at least one allele for brown eyes, your eyes are going to be brown. So the other side of that is recessive. Those are lowercase letters. So like blue eyes is a recessive trait. So that means I have to have 2 lowercase letters for that to get blue eyes. So it doesn't show up if there's a dominant one present. So if there's even one capital T there, I would have brown eyes. You have to have those lowercase for it to really work. So some other big facts about this, guys. Everyone carries, again, 2 alleles for a trait. Really important to know. There's 2 alleles for every trait. So only 1 is passed on during sexual reproduction. So your parents each pass on 1. So organisms get 1 allele, 50%, from each parent. It's kind of the big way to think about this. And these are things we've been talking about in class. And I really just wanted to kind of clarify some of these definitions as we go forward. So that is all the notes for today. I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you along the way.